Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Brittany, and on this channel, we talk all about plants. And it is coming to the end of June, and I was out of town for a little bit this month, and then I'm leaving again here upcoming for a work trip. So I figured we could do a little recap of June and talk about the good things that happened with the plants, the tragic things that happened, and kind of do just a little update on what's going on here. So if you are into plants and into talking about plants, plant growth, new plants, stick around and let's talk June recap. So we did have a couple exciting little updates this month. We got quite a few new plants, some new leaves growing. And so the first one that I wanted to talk about is this Philodendron Majestic. This little guy had a tough couple of months. It tried to pop a couple new leaves and ultimately failed. The leaves got stuck and then they rotted out. So since I've gotten this little baby right here is the first new leaf that I've actually gotten that was successful. So that is super exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing this one grow. Like I said, it had a rough start at my house, so big moves for this little guy. And as we talk about the little ones, the next really exciting thing is this little Friedeck, variegated Friedeck. Here we go, just unfurled this new leaf. And when we got this plant, it had 3 leaves. So this one had just unfurled, this little half moon, and then it had 2 leaves that it came with, and they both died out. So I was really worried. It only had 1 leaf. It was a half moon. The white part wasn't doing great. So I was happy to see when this little one, come on, focus. There we go. Came to be. We had talked a little bit about potentially putting this into more of a semi-hydro substrate. So I think that that's going to happen here pretty quickly because it's not doing great in soil. So in the comments, leave us our tips. What do you have your Friedeck in, and how is it doing? So we're gonna try some pon. I did buy some Lechuza pon, so we'll kind of move in that direction. I'm doing some research and trying to see if we can give a little success to this little baby. But new leaf, super exciting. The next plant that I want to talk about that's been a big deal this month is this Raven ZZ. And it pushed this new stalk this month, and it is huge and beautiful. And it also has 1, 2, 3, 4 more stalks that are coming in as we speak. So it is thriving. It's a summer girly, just like me. And it's doing so well, and the contrast of these new stalks, the green against that dark color, is so beautiful. If you do not have one of these, the leaves don't stay green forever, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them. With light and with time, they do start to change to that darker color. Let me give you an example. So let's see, this right here, you can see it's slightly green, but especially the edges and the veining are starting to darken on this guy. And ultimately it will end up like these really dark black leaves, but it just takes a little bit of time. And I think the success from this plant has been just like the longer days, the extended light, but also it was really resting for a long time. I didn't get any new growth for months and months. And now all of a sudden its energy is back and it's producing all these new stalks. So super excited. And then I did just want to really quickly touch on some of our propagations that we started this month and how they're doing. So we completely cut back the Monstera Peru because it was getting super long, leggy. It had like one vine that was really long, and we just chopped it all down, and we need a little water, a little water change. I obviously have not changed this water recently, but I can confirm that these are all starting to root, and some are even starting to get some secondary roots. So that is very exciting. We have a couple other plants in here. You can see this Micans is super, super rooted. I need to pot it up. And we have a Hoya pubicalyx cutting in here that's quite rooted as well. So really successful cup of nasty water propagations. And then of course, our little snake plant propagation here is doing really well, and it's pushed multiple new stalks this month. So we've got one on the back, and then the front has 6 stalks pushing out, including that big one that we've been watching for a while. And then the last one is the little experiment fiddle leaf fig propagation that we had started almost a year ago. The fiddle leaf fig died completely out, and we just took a top cutting and put it into water and watched it do nothing for 9 months, and all of a sudden it is growing like crazy and actually leafing. So we had a couple of little sprouts starting to grow, but now we're getting leaves. So let me show you what this looks like here. So super exciting. That is brand new. It has 4 growth points and currently 4 leaves. I take that back, 5 growth points. So I'm super excited to see what this does. I'm not like trying to grow a fiddle leaf fig tree or anything, but it's just fun to watch the progress, especially when it looked like this thing was a goner. So those are the updates on the exciting things that happened in the month of June. And we'll end on the bad note, the things that happened that were a little bit less beneficial for the plants, but something that I think we can grow and learn from. So let me grab those unfortunate souls. Okay, so we have just 3 sad stories this month. So the first one is this gorgeous philodendron Birkin. I love it. So it did unfurl a new leaf. And if you know anything about the Birkin, it is a slow grower, but the leaf got really stuck when it was unfurling, and I know better, but I tried to help it out, and the leaf that was on the outside of it broke off and then did cause some damage. So we have some damage in this whole area. I can say that that newest leaf here is beautiful, and here is the new leaf that's growing out from this. But guys, we all know it. Just leave them alone. Let them do their thing. They do it in the wild. They don't need us. But I did it. And this was like the most beautiful white, perfect leaf, and snapped it right off. So bummer there. All my fault. The second one that I want to talk about, I'm going to leave this guy for last because he's obviously the best for last, is the satin pothos. I do not water this guy very often, but it did get root rot, and all of the vines just started like falling out, and you can see it's not even stable. Like looking scarce, looking sparse. And I don't know, we need to repot him. He needs some recovery time, but this was like a very full, very beautiful plant, and it now is like a mess. So root rot on the satin pothos. Unfortunate, but we'll get that repotted into some fresh soil here, and I'm sure it'll make a full recovery. It's a very easygoing plant. If you don't have one, highly recommend it. I'm telling you, I like never water this thing. I don't even know how it got root rot, but sure enough it did. And then the last one that we're going to talk about is the Tycon. This is a Walmart Tycon, and I know people have had issues. We did repot it so that it was in a chunky substrate so that we had good drainage, weren't getting the rotting that people are getting, the leaf loss. And so it could be from shock from a new environment, shock from a repot, but this gorgeous, gorgeous leaf did start blackening this month. So let me see if I can show you. Here we go. So it has these black spots, and this is new. It's not on the highly variegated part, and it's the only ones that are really showing it, but it's not the edges. It's more central, so it's concerning. So we're keeping an eye on this guy, seeing what he does, but that one was unfortunate because this leaf is like just so pretty and so beautiful. And I'm hoping it's not something more like within the plant, but we're gonna keep an eye on it. If you have one and you've had issues with it, what did you do to prevent any leaf loss, any root loss? If you have advice or you know what this might be or what might be causing it, please give me a heads up down in the comments. And thank you for sticking around, getting an update, our June update. I leave for Seattle for a work trip here coming up. So I'll keep you up to date with what's going on with all these guys. And I will give you a little update on the puppy, so stick around. And make sure that you subscribe if you are into plants and sharing about plants. Follow me on Instagram so that I can see all your pretty plants. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See you next time.